Greetings, dear viewers. Here I am in front of the statue of Bomber Harris, as he's known. Sir Arthur Harris, who was born in 1892, and he joined the army during the First World War. He was put into a section of it called the Royal Flying Corps, because at that stage the Royal Air Force did not exist. There was no Air Force as such. Aviation was run by the Army, sometimes by the Navy. Then on April Fool's Day 1918, on the Strand, not far from me now, the Royal Air Force was founded, and Sir Arthur Harris, well, it was just Arthur Harris in those days, was translated into the Royal Air Force. In the Second World War, he was Commander-in-Chief of Bomber Command. So his airmen were in charge of bombing raids on Germany and German-occupied countries. As in, they weren't particularly for defending the United Kingdom. Their mission was entirely offensive. There were other RAF squadrons who were tasked with defending the skies of the British Isles. So Sir Arthur Harris is a highly controversial figure because of this firebombing campaign of Germany. They wanted to attack industrial targets to destroy military manufacturing over there, and inevitably this killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. There were no guided bombs in those days. The air crews would navigate by dead reckoning with a map and a compass and estimating, if we've been flying at such an angle for so long at a certain speed, where are we now? And looking below, there was a blackout. It's very hard to see cities, but dropping bombs over what they thought were industrial areas, it was that crude. And if they got within a few miles of the target, they considered they'd done quite well. So it was unavoidable killing many civilians. And that's why some people think that he's horrific and he's just as bad as his enemies. But anyway, he died in 1986, and some people think that he was a stalwart man and he did what needed to be done. Because there was no way around this, there was no nice way to do this. If the war was going to be won, enemy industry had to be obliterated, and it was impossible not to kill enemy civilians in large numbers, as have been killed here and many other countries. But was this just anti-German bigotry? Did it go too far? Were they simply trying to dehouse the German civilian population by bombing the most densely populated areas? And was Leipzig too heavily bombed when the war was virtually over anyway? Was it sheer vengeance and hatred? But the Queen Mother was an advocate of his, as in the mother of the current Queen Elizabeth II, and she was adamant that this must be erected. And so 6 years after his death, it was put up here in front of St Clement Danes, the church of the RAF.